Chapter 7. Jerusalem under siege, Judah's narrow escape. In 701 BCE, the Assyrian war machine turned south. Israel was already rubble. Now it was Judah's turn. The empire moved through the land like fire, fortress by fortress, city by city. And when it was done, only Jerusalem remained. Behind its walls under siege, Jerusalem faced what should have been its end. But the city didn't fall. The Bible calls it a miracle. An angel strikes down the Assyrian army, and Jerusalem is spared. But archaeology and Assyrian records point to something more political, more human. A fortified city, a desperate king, and a survival bought with heavy tribute. No divine fire, just power, negotiation, and luck. Still, the memory of that escape changed everything. From that day forward, Jerusalem was no longer just Judah's capital. It was something more, a symbol of chosenness, a city that stood while others fell. Assyria marches south. After destroying the northern kingdom of Israel, the Assyrian Empire expanded deeper into the southern Levant. Under King Sennacherib, the Assyrians launched a major campaign to crush rebellion and lock down control of the region. Judah's King Hezekiah had taken a dangerous risk. He stopped paying tribute to Assyria and looked south to Egypt for support. The Bible frames him as a religious reformer, but politically, he'd made himself a target. Assyria responded as it always did, with force. Lachish falls. One of the clearest windows into this war comes from the siege of Lachish, Judah's second largest city. We don't rely on scripture alone. We have the stones. Inside the palace of Sennacherib at Nephar, massive reliefs were carved to commemorate the battle. They show Assyrian soldiers storming the walls, building siege ramps, impaling prisoners, and leading captives away in chains. Archaeological digs at Lachish confirm the story. Burned walls, collapsed towers, charred grain stores. It was total destruction. Judah was being dismantled piece by piece, and Jerusalem was next. Inside the walls, Hezekiah knew what was coming. He ordered Jerusalem's defenses strengthened, building a broad new outer wall, reinforcing the towers, and most critically constructing the Siloam Tunnel, a half-kilometer water channel carved through solid rock to bring water into the city from the Gihon Spring. It wasn't just engineering, it was desperation. Inside the city, fear ran thick. The people rationed grain. Smoke from Lachish darkened the horizon by night. Silence hung heavy over the walls. Parents whispered rumors. Children listened for sounds in the hills. Every horn, every echo could be the army coming. There were no guarantees, only walls, water, and time. What the records say. The Bible paints a dramatic scene. The Assyrian commander stands outside the city and taunts Hezekiah's officials in Hebrew, asking why they trust in their king or their God. Hezekiah, shaking, consults the prophet Isaiah and prays. Isaiah promises deliverance. A sudden disaster strikes the Assyrian army. That night, the angel of the Lord went out and struck down 85,000 in the Assyrian camp. It's a powerful story, but the Assyrians have their version too. In Sennacherib's official account, he boasts of capturing 46 Judean towns, and then, as for Hezekiah the Judean, who did not submit to my yoke, I shut him up like a bird in a cage in Jerusalem. His royal city, I laid siege to him. He makes no claim of capturing Jerusalem. That silence matters. He brags when he wins. If he had taken the city, he would have said so. What follows instead is tribute, survival bought. The most likely outcome is simple. Hezekiah paid the empire off. The biblical text itself admits it. Hezekiah gave him all the silver that was found in the house of the Lord. He even stripped off the gold from the doors of the temple. Jerusalem was spared, not by fire from heaven, but by treasure from the temple. In Judah's memory, that payment became providence, survival became salvation. Sennacherib claimed a political view, Hezekiah claimed a theological one. Each side told a story that made them look strong. From history to theology. What Judah couldn't explain politically, it reinterpreted spiritually. If Lachish fell and Jerusalem didn't, the difference had to mean something. This is where Zion theology takes root. Jerusalem is God's chosen city. The temple is God's home. As long as Judah stays faithful, the city cannot fall. Psalm 46 echoes this belief. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. The idea that Jerusalem could not fall became a theological anchor and a dangerous one, because it would fall, just not yet. Isaiah's role. The prophet Isaiah, active during Hezekiah's reign, becomes the voice of hope in the Bible's version of events.
Chapter 7, Part 2. The food is ready. Jerusalem under siege. Judah's narrow escape. Isaiah says that Assyria was a tool of judgment, but also that it would not destroy Jerusalem. He frames Judah's survival as both divine justice and divine mercy. Whether Isaiah himself wrote every line or later editors expanded his legacy, the result is clear. Isaiah becomes the prophet who explains survival, not just predicts doom. This era begins the transformation of prophecy into literature, where current events are interpreted through voices of authority and preserved as theology. Stones that still speak. Hezekiah's tunnel still runs under Jerusalem today. Cold water still flows through it. The Siloam inscription, discovered in the 19th century, describes how two teams dug toward each other from opposite ends and met in the middle. It's one of the earliest Hebrew inscriptions ever found. This isn't myth. This is the record of a people under siege, doing what they could to survive. No angels. No fire. Just a tunnel in the dark. No fire. A city becomes symbol. Jerusalem's escape in 701 BC didn't just spare a city. It created a myth. The city that withstood Assyria became, in memory, the eternal city. A place God would never allow to fall. But belief in invincibility always has a cost. 100 years later, when Babylon comes, many still think Jerusalem can't fall. They think the temple protects them. They think the scrolls will save them. They will be wrong.